He who fights with monsters should be careful, lest he thereby become a monster. And if thou gaze long into an abyss, the abyss will also gaze into thee. This is a quote from Beyond Good and Evil by Fredrick Nietzsche. I think about very often. I won't often start videos with quotes, but I thought this would be a fitting lead into my thoughts about stuff and beginning the channel. More on the quote in a little bit. Secondly, I want to kind of state, I guess, the purpose of this channel, which is to elevate some philosophical phenomena that I have observed in media and to compile them and add some experiential facts to the thoughts. So, making video essays. I'm not trained in philosophy or don't have a degree in it. I am currently working on my master's in education, which has given me some chances to read up on philosophy, and before that I got my undergrad in art. Usually these videos are going to be a response to another video essay. I remember a long time ago on YouTube they would have a section under the video for video responses, and I kind of want to bring some of that back. These will most likely be based off of a media property. Currently I'm trending towards a lot of anime topics. I have a whole list of them, of topics. I'm also interested in video games, horror, and some other stuff. I'm open to some ideas. If anybody has any, you can leave them in the comments and I'd like to look through them. And so the second chunk of this video is going to be talking about the philosophy I've been thinking about for why I'm making these videos, and a bit on my love of the abyss and why I have that as my username. Not really. I didn't first base the username off of these things, but I thought these are really good fits to how I think about it. So the first philosopher that we're going to be talking about is G. Hegel in Phenomenology of the Spirits preface. He talks about thinking of things as they are is basically looking at things at surface level until you find small moments of actualization and building to become a thing that creates understanding. To gain the whole view, to go deep, or even watch a kind of goofy video that tries to take itself a little too seriously, to be able to look through the information you have or to find what is lacking. I'm gonna want to try to use more of the video essays that I'm pulling from for these videos in the future, but I also feel it's necessary to go through these books that are usually related or referred to in those videos as well, so I can draw my own conclusions from them and find more questions that can be interesting to think about and possibly try to answer in these videos, I guess. There's another part of the preface that takes what I feel like is kind of the opposite direction of thinking, where when coming up with identity, it's about deconstructing that big pile of information, and he talks about dissecting parts of it that leave you at the part that lingers through all of the situations you're in. I think this is kind of also related to Carl Jung's idea of masculine persona, where you have these things that are, or these moments where you're trying to show yourself in a certain type of light to different people that isn't the whole view, or even kind of the sum or the part that is always present, that it takes this process of really thinking and deconstruction to find. And for me, I think it is a lot of that deeper thinking and trying to make sense of things, mostly using art. And so art is like the way I use to represent elements of life and take abstract meaning making to find a like cohesiveness, I guess, in my thoughts, which is why I draw a lot of different personas, and feeling kind of alienated would be a good way to think about it, but like distant. All right, now we can get back to the opening quote from Nietzsche. And I think for that first part, it's talking about how when you act the same way as something else, you become like it, even if your purpose or reason is different. The impact you're going to have is fundamentally the same. So for me, and in this process for the video essays, instead of the banking model it's called, where it's I give you information and you just accept it as fact, I want to have it to where there is dialogue in the comments, and also, unlike how it felt for school, you can turn the video off whenever you want, or, you know, fast forward or skip something, stuff like that. You have more options when it comes to like how you take this information that I'm trying to put in this video. And I don't like consider myself to be the expert of this stuff. It's just a lot of stuff that I've read or thought about. And then there's actually another part that I found from Beyond Good and Evil that talks about the abyss that I think is very important when trying to figure out what he means by the abyss in that second part, where it's like kind of what you're gaining from looking into the abyss and what it gains from looking into you. I'll paraphrase this part because it's a lot longer of it, but it's basically to each their own, and to the profound, which means intense insight or like wisdom, they are the ones that get the abyss. And I think my read on these parts of the book kind of go with like the drive to understand things and be able to kind of reason with why situations happen the way they are, or how to change things, I guess, into a way that we kind of want to see them. And often you find the parts beyond the surface, like Hegel was talking about, and these can often be usually the negative aspects of the world or whatever subject you're looking for. And usually it goes very deep. Like it's a lot to think about if you're trying to like think of everything. Like there's a lot to like unpack there. And I think from how I feel like I take a lot of time to like think about like how the everything works, and especially how like people operate, and you know what kinds of pressures and whatnot is in the social atmosphere. I often find myself alone with that. And this kind of withdrawal from people comes partially from that idea of like I think too much, I'm in my own head. Part of it also is the fact that I know, or I'm trying to know a lot more about the situations I'm in, that make it to where I overthink a lot of things and forms anxiety, which I think a lot of people can kind of relate to. And a lot of this kind of contributes to what I call like a brain fog, where I stop being able to like process like things in the moment for at least hours, if not a full day, of needing to kind of settle a lot of these, either what's happening in my life, current events, or like just conversations I guess I've had. So I guess now I'll go back to kind of what I want to have in some of these videos, or just to give like a little like preview into the idea, the philosophy that I want to tackle in some of these videos. So that's like drive versus desire, different forms of othering, oppression versus liberation, and kind of the evolution of genre. Are going to be some that I'm going to like try to put into a few videos here and there, and we'll see how that goes. Lastly, I want to thank everybody that like stuck around to the end of this intro video. It's my first time trying to put something like this together with philosophy. I've done some kind of videos before doing like art and design. It's been a couple to few years since I've done that. So trying to get back into it, making a lot of things for these. I hope you enjoy. I will maybe get one more of these done by the end of the year. We'll see. But thank you again. See you next time. Bye.